Hi there, my name is Tom Hitchcock and welcome to my YouTube channel. My idea is so simple, it's really a platform for people to share their story with whoever wants to listen, basically. We have a range of stories. We have people that are relatively unassuming but have miraculous stories for us all to learn and listen to. There's people in society that we cannot get in front of. They have a high station and we are able to speak with them and get that story shared with us all. So please subscribe below so you don't miss out on any of these interviews that we do, and enjoy. Good morning, Michael. Tom Hitchcock, how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Purple.
Mr. Purple, indeed.
Yeah.
I'm wearing this t-shirt. I love this t-shirt now.
Yeah.
It's something I'm just, when it gets tatty and tired, I'm just going to keep buying new ones. I'm going to have this t-shirt for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So how is sunny Queensland?
Not so sunny. It's sunny, but it's very cold at the minute. So yeah. It's getting fresher as the days go on. Definitely.
If there's any Brits listening to you with the sunshine in the background and you're in the sunshine state, okay, I'm sure they'll contest with you. You don't know what cold is.
Tell me about it. I fought in May at West Ham, and it was an open arena there. The West Ham Football Club, right, as you call it, football, soccer, whatever. Yeah, and it was a big crowd, 20,000 there. But mate, that was so cold. Like how you meant to warm up in those conditions where, like, you know, getting ready to in the change room, and then when you actually go to the open air, it's just it just hit. And that's a strategy. That's a pommy strategy. They get us to go over there, and then we're just, you know. So, yeah.
Well, it didn't work, did it?
No, not in that instance. No, we were one step ahead of them. We started training earlier, about 6 a.m. at when it was the coldest, you know, and we started doing that then, and then we were good to go by the time it come like fight time, 9 o'clock at night. We were good to go.
Okay, well, listen, you're talking two of my favourite topics here, so a half hour definitely is not long enough, okay? But there's going to be people watching this video that have no idea who Michael Katsidis is.
Yeah.
Do you want to quickly give us a bit of a snapshot as to who you are and what they're listening to?
Michael Katsidis is an expression of infinite possibilities that chose to be me. I'm here to express my highest potential. So what makes this different to most other people is the adversity that I've faced throughout my life, and I've done that through dedicating myself to my sport, which is boxing. Achievements, you know, I went to the Olympic Games. I was 19 years of age. That's 2000 Sydney. Then I went on to follow my dreams, and I won the world title for the WBO title twice, and a WBU title. So I based myself over in America, Las Vegas, for 4 years. Well, 6 years in total in America, and you know, I didn't come home once. I was just living the high life. But boxing is me. That's who I am. But now, obviously, I'm older. I'm retired with the boxing career, but it doesn't stop there. I go on to other things, business and so on. That's where my life is at now.
Okay, I love that. And what's quite interesting, so if I was to talk about you to someone else, who's your mate Michael? Okay, and I won't say the bad things that I say, of course. I would say, he's a world champion boxer. Okay, and go straight in it, and that's the precipice. That's the thing that defines you. That's what would qualify a Wikipedia page. This will be in the news.
Yes.
But what I liked about your response there is you went in on where you're at now.
Yes.
Post boxing.
Yeah.
Why you got to that stage.
Yeah.
Okay. And where the lessons are. So so for me, what I'm picking out there, obviously you face adversity. Everyone faces adversity for different degrees, and it affects people in different ways. Okay. But what you've done is, you know, if I was to listen and take advice from someone on adversity and building resilience, for example, I can take advice from anybody that wants to share it.
Yeah.
But I'd rather take it from someone who's been to hell and back repeatedly and has also achieved the world standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? The world-class standard. Because what is there to contest with that combination? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course. So you can pick and choose. Of course, you can choose who you'd like to take your advice from, and of course, my life would be a fine example for people to follow the lead of. Like basically, people can see that, what I've gone through. Well, mate, what they've gone through, most people would be like a walk in the park. Like this isn't a pissing contest. Who can piss the highest up the wall and all the rest of it like that. But like the fact of the matter is that my pathway is going the path that it's gone on. I got over those hurdles. I achieved it. I did it through boxing and what I did, and now moving forward in another part of my life, I would apply the exact same principles as I did the boxing. So, I mean, I've spoken to you a bit before, Tom, when talk about preparation, strategy, preparation for a business, people, it's like you say, people, it's like running around like they don't know where they're going. Dreams are nothing without goals. Dreams would just be dreams, so like, there's all these things that people come up with all the time. When I was boxing, I like one of the first fights that I lost, I after I looked back on that, I thought, okay, I didn't throw enough punches. I was too scared to throw my right hand. I would only throw my left hand. I was so scared. I was 11 years old, right? Some people come in early, some people come into it late, but I was too scared. So the next fight that I had, I made sure that I threw both hands, and geez, I was lucky that I did, because I fought a big guy, from Harvey Bay, Nicholas Frawley, and like he just come ready to fight that, and 11 years old, going flat out, and I'm lucky that I did, because he would have put me on my ass, but I lost the fight. But from that loss, I picked up, okay, right, what can I do better again, because I know I can do better. So I started doing more running. I made sure my weight was right. I changed my diet around. And then for the third fight that I had against Sean McCullough from Millmerran, from Quilpie, I fought him at Millmerran. I said, that's it. This time I'm going to run better. I've got all that. And I did. And I just went, la, 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 flat out. And it was the first time in a long time that I'd seen like people throw money in the ring. They were that happy with the performance that I give out. And it's called a shower. They throw money in the ring. And that there adds to the confidence as a young kid growing up. It's just a building step, and it just went going from that. I thought, okay, if I can do it here, I can do there, and just raised, and that's the same principles I applied all the way through my career that reached me to be one of the most exciting fighters in the world and world champion.
Love it. There's so much to unpack there, but there's two things I want to take a segue on. There's one thing I want to share with you, and obviously boxing and football are my two sports.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page. It's going to be very hard for you and I to dislike each other.
Yeah.
On those two pages.
Why do you want to fight me then? You always want to fight. You always call me. You want to fight.
Mate,
you've been telling me for years. Yeah.
Well, I've been asking you for years.
Yeah.
But that's purely because I like a challenge, and I think that can resonate with you. What's the? Yeah. There's no point challenging someone who's no good, is there?
Yeah, true.
It's called bullying.
Very good.
But so just a quick anecdote here. So my son Charlie's 10 years old, and I was getting him 2 days ago to throw me some punches, jab, cross, all the basics, just getting his basics right for him. And then I said double jab. Okay, this will make you laugh. You know what he did?
Right hand. Ah, yeah, nice.
Yeah, I was like, no. And I love it. The innocence. Yeah. The innocence of a child,
But and how the mind works as well is like they've taken that on board and just
So, you know what? It's completely made me lose track of what I was going to go down and ask you then. But okay. So boxing is what you're known for. You achieved, and you're quite right. You're one of the most exciting fighters out there. Here, so these are good accolades. Something that you could actually put yourself on a pedestal for, and deservedly so. But with the boxing, okay, I've always found a certain type of personality in the ring. Okay, and this isn't boxing training. I'm talking sparring onwards. That's where it's like learning to play football. If you're not having a crack at a match, then you haven't played football yet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so sparring onwards, anybody that's willing to get hit in the face more than once, okay, good on them, okay. Now, there is exceptions to the rule, okay, but generally speaking, I find that it is a gentleman's sport. I'm talking about the males here in this case, okay.
Yeah.
But one thing I find that's really defining is the lack of arrogance, okay, and there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
And your shower scenario, you said filled you with confidence.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you've noticed the same thing, okay?
Yeah.
But if you have, what would you say the difference between confidence and arrogance is?
Oh, geez, confidence and arrogance. Hmm. I can't answer that question right now. I don't really. Depends on what scenario. Like, I mean, would you say like, what scenario would you describe it in? Like, I don't really. Yeah, I can't. It's a difficult one. Yeah.
It is a difficult question. It's a bit naughty of me to ask.
Yeah.
So,
It's fine.
but I bring this up in some of my sales training, okay? Because obviously you can get an arrogant salesperson, no one likes them, but they do like a confident salesperson. Then you got in relationships, you got an arrogant guy,
Yeah.
but they like a confident guy, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
But people struggle to answer the difference between the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll explain to you. So there is quite a literal definition, okay?
Yeah.
Arrogance, one side of the fence. Confidence is the Latin. Okay, so going back to your ancestral history here, con is with, fired is faith. So it's with faith, okay, makes up the word confidence. And essentially all that translates to, for you and I, is I've done it before, so I can do it again. I am confident I can do it again.
Gotcha.
So when we're born, we can't make a cup of tea. We don't know how to make
That's right. That's right.
When you say I can make the best cup of tea ever, if you haven't done it, that's arrogant.
Yeah.
If you made a really good cup of tea before, of course I could do it.
Yeah.
But because you've had a success, you've gone through the situation and people validated you, at that point then you had the confidence to go on and achieve great things.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Good. All right, okay. So we've got the boxing there, and I will come back to West Ham, which is you've got my religion. There's lots of things that happen in your life, okay? And they affect people different ways. So I know myself personally. I could deal with something very big, but something seriously small could absolutely destroy me.
Okay? That's right. That's right.
Everybody. But for you, what are the 3 biggest things that have challenged you in your life?
Well, let's go like in order. I suppose as we go along. Like the biggest, like I always wanted to be world champion from a very young age, and then finding out that and obviously for most, it depends on weight divisions and whatever. Like to achieve the goal of being world champion, you have to go over to America. So like I was facing some difficulties getting into America at first, and that was really tough. Like being able to accept that I can't get in there. I went and spoke to the U.S. Embassy. They said, look, I've been a high energy person, and I got myself in a bit of strife with energy as a young person, and I'm lucky that I'm very worldly and being able to, have the experiences that I have to bring me to here today. But I've often learned the hard way. I got put in jail from a young age. I was just after the Olympic Games, actually got into a bit of a scuffle over some guy in a pub. It's just ridiculous. But there's lessons to be learned for me out of that, and that's regarding violence. That was a big thing for me to accept when I went to the US Embassy, and they said, look, we're not going to let you into America, and even if you can reapply in 5 years, we still wouldn't let you in. It's as simple as that. So then I had at the time, the Premier at the time was Premier Beattie, Premier of Queensland. He looked at my case and said, look, this guy's a great guy. He's stood up for me, basically put that through to the US Embassy, and they said, yep, not only they've given me they gave me a P1 working visa, which is an extraordinary alien, and then I could have applied for a green card had I wanted as well. So, like that, just going through that time, like everything that you work for, and then that it crumbled. So that was the first thing. Okay, building blocks. Okay, and I went on and I fought so hard throughout my career to get to where I got, and I was right at the pinnacle. I had a record of 23 fights, 23 wins with 21 knockouts. How great is this? A guy from Toowoomba walk around Hollywood Boulevard, I was hanging out with Denzel Washington at the Pound for Pound gym. I was, rubbing shoulders with Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao. I trained alongside with him at the Wildcard gym in Hollywood down Vine Street. I just had the luxury of being around so many different people, and it just went from one thing to the other, and I was at the pinnacle of my career, and then I've got a fight with the pound for pound best fighter in the world, being Juan Manuel Marquez. Now, he knocked out Manny Pacquiao, We're talking about pound for pound, like all weight divisions. He was seen as to be the greatest fighter in the world. I fought him at that stage, in the lightweight division to unify all the belts. And so I was 3 weeks out from that fight, and then I got the news that my brother had passed away. So suddenly, and I was in training camp in Thailand. For those who don't know, my brother Michael Katsidis, he was Australia's leading jockey at the time. A week after he died, he was to be riding the favourite in the Melbourne Cup shootout. Him and that horse had a great relationship. I've no doubt they would have won because of the time that he ran and how the race went with a different jockey on it. Anyway, that's all old news. But me and my brother were very close. Part of helping me get where I got is having that companionship, that brotherhood, having the brother, someone you can bounce off. He's 18 months older than me. Beautiful person, mate. And just to lose him and to find out that he died like 3 weeks out while I'm in solid camp, I was left with a very hard decision to do that fight or not to do that fight. And I said to myself, what would have Starty wanted? So I went ahead and I did the fight, and I've almost won it as well. I've dropped the guy in the third round, and I could hear the commentators yelling, and he's thinking of his brother. And I hesitated for the first time in my life. So I've dropped him. He's struggling to get up. And I've sort of hesitated for the first time in my life. By the time I sort of decided to start focusing again, we'd got to the 9th round. I got hit in the throat, backpedaled, and then started exchanging, but the referee stopped the fight in his favour. I lost the next 4 fights straight after that. So I didn't go back to Australia for the funeral, because the funeral was already gone and done by the time I fought, and I just was fighting for the wrong reasons. So that then was followed by years of abuse towards myself. So other people deal with things in different ways. And I can tell you right now, procrastination prolongs pain, and you're better off just copping things on the chin and working through it, because that grieving process of losing my brother has taken 14 years, doing it the long way. Abuse, just masking the pain, and going forward, like that it was just going backwards. I was like, or even just like a hamster in a spinning wheel, just like spinning in a spot, just going nowhere. That was a big thing to deal with, and I've gone through that the hard way, and I'm a living testimony now. People can get up off the ground. People really can get up off the ground. They can change their lives, and if I can do it, they can do it too. That's the second thing. Okay, the thing that brought me to dealing with all this, and the third thing, was I got locked up for 2 years. As a result, got my fingerprints over some bags of cocaine, charged as a result of all that, and mixing with the people that I shouldn't have been. And it's like I've been walking around in like a cloud of fog for so long, and I had that time to think, and I looked back and I went, fuck, I was rubbing shoulders with some of the most successful people, powerful people in the world. Had them on speed dial, talking to me all the time. I was right there, and now I'm here. I'm here today. So what? So fucking what? Going to jail. I paid my debt to the community. I'm out there. I'm here, and I've got a story to tell. I've got a really good story to tell and to share with people. And there's a message I can pass on about adversity. People can learn from what I've gone through, and they can better themselves too. So that brings me to. That's the third one. So now here I am at this stage in my career.
I love all that. I can see visibly that the scenario around your brother still cuts you just by talking about it.
Of course.
So thank you for sharing that. Obviously, it's a big call to do what you did to stay there and essentially sacrifice the opportunity to say goodbye that you wanted to.
Yeah.
But am I right in assuming here that he would have wanted you to fight?
Yes, that's how I took it. Yeah, that's how I took it. But look, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Like they say, in an analogy of this, I think, and now I look back in hindsight, he probably would have wanted me to look after me first and stuff all the glory and the fame. That's the way I look at it. You got to look after yourself first. Like the analogy is like with an aircraft, they always tell you, fit the mask on yourself before you fix the child. So you can't help anybody else unless you help yourself. So here I am trying to do something in the righteous name of what my brother would have wanted, You know, he's not even really here. What he really, I think, at heart would have wanted, like that. Like hindsight is such a wonderful thing, and that's the experiences that I've gone through now to get me to where I am today. I'm so thankful for. And one thing I do have about all this is just gratitude, mate. I'm so thankful that I've been through and I can be sitting in today having this conversation with you, busy as, and so many things on the go. I'm just going to grab this world with both hands and make the most of it, just as I did with my career.
So a lot of this, there's an emotional journey. There's peaks and troughs. So you've got the Denzel Washington period, and then you've got the pain, naughty boy period.
Yeah.
Polar opposite.
Yeah.
Okay? Now these extremities are things that the majority of people don't, well, obviously, will never experience. Okay, and to deal with such highs and lows is tough in the emotions. Okay, and the emotions, which you talked about procrastination there, and the 14 years to go for the grieving process and some turn to abuse and escapism. But
so can I just stop you there? Like, and just when you are talking about like dealing with things like, and people probably don't see this. So like where I was at in my career, so you just to put it in perspective, everything I went through was so well publicized, like my brother passing. So that's what it means, Tom, when you want to mention talking about my brother, go for it. I know it still seems that it's a little bit raw. You can tell it's a little bit raw, but it's not. Like, I'm happy to talk about all of it, you know, and as often as you want, because my skin's tough now, you know, like it just bounces off now, and it's sweet. I'm open. I've gone through the hard way. I can just dig into whatever how you want. Yeah, just
So by definition, emotions is energy in motion. Okay. Now, if we don't allow that energy to pass through, we don't process it, we don't sit in that pain, but take it head on. Then it lingers and sometimes gets worse. You know. And what I can see now is you've passed all that out, all those highs and lows. You've dealt with it forward. Okay. And your energy right now is so optimistic. It's like you've got a rocket up your backside, right? I'm going to help everyone else from these peaks and troughs, both of them, the good times and the bad times, how you cope with it, okay? So that they don't make the same mistakes that I made. They can translate it however they choose and help others. So is that the route where you're going now?
100% it is. 100% it is, and it's just like just moving forward, just applying the same principles in my life as I would to anything else. So now obviously it's with business that I'm doing. You know, it's just about moving forward. You know, don't get caught up in the past. You know, don't get caught up in what's happened. What's happened has happened. You can't change the past. You know, we're in here now, and then now's the time that we can make the move.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we've been speaking quite a bit of late, and we're on the same page with many things. So I'm really excited about what you're bringing to the world now. I'm also excited about playing my part to make that happen, because everything you're doing, I'm 100% in agreement with, and I love that. Okay. So that's where we're going now. I just want to pick in a couple of small insights there which you shared, because so people can see that, they can see TV, they can go on YouTube, they can do all this stuff. But I want you to share with me a few things. I want to know, number one, when you're up for a title fight, for example, you've been training for a period of time for that moment, the bell goes off for round one. You're on your own. It's a lonely sport. There's no one else. There's no one else there. You've got someone that wants to knock your head off and right in front, coming towards you. What's the first thing that goes through your head when that bell goes off?
To give you an idea, it's no different, because like what boxing is my everyday job, what I do. So for an analogy, you can understand this, anyone else can understand this. When you go to work, okay, Joe Blow walking down the street cannot do the job that you specialize in, because you just do it repetitive you repeat it over and over and over again. You get so good at it, it looks like it just flows. Okay, business, for example, you go into a conversation, people go la 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 la, you know, and to me it's like goes over your head. Okay, boxing, I've been doing for such a long time. You know, there's a strategy in place. When I'm starting that fight, it's the very first round. I'm looking at what his eyes are doing, what his hands are doing, what his legs are doing, and the knowledge that I picked up on my opponent. So everybody's different. Okay, so he's got different things in his life that he's led, and you can pick up on things like with confidence when you get to know your enemy as well. You learn a bit about them and you read them and study. It depends if you have had the opportunity to learn about them or not. Maybe you haven't. So then you go to this instant telltale signs. What the most thing you need to be wary of, what is coming at you. Okay. Once you can be safe in where you're at and what you're doing. So obviously the first punch that you want to think about doing is landing your left-hand jab, because that's the bread and butter. You know, you got the bread and butter, and then you can start putting a bit of Nutella on it, some sprinkles, whatever fancy stuff you want, right? But if you can do that jab right, you land that first jab, it's the safest punch to throw, chin down. Okay, you got your distance right. Okay, that's the first thing that's going through my head. Fuck everything else. There's no concern, because you are dealing with him there, not whatever that's going on, the things on the side and people yelling out. You know, it's that's it. So pretty. Look after yourself, okay, and then see what's coming.
Okay, I love that. So that's discipline, that's practice, that's preparing. So all those things combined. What about your emotions? Because obviously, traditionally with a fight, there's fight or flee are the two responses. Okay, so if you ever think where the flee response is kicked in, you're fearful. Right at the wrong time, because that doesn't serve you.
So for example, right, so like obviously I'm going into the business to like going into, like, you know, flooring, SBC flooring and that sort of thing. Like I know it's in the building industry, so I like to get experience around the building industry, and so I like to get around amongst it and that, and even at work. So I'm raising houses for Ostump, you know, and we're re-leveling houses, and the guy's on a bobcat, right, and he's like, and he's using the end of the bobcat to stop himself from falling because he's going downhill. I'm like, fuck, I'm freaking out, looking at him. Like, after that, I said, mate, weren't you even nervous about that? Like the thing was you're gonna come out of the bobcat, or was gonna roll on top of you or anything like that? He said, no, cool, because he's been doing it for so long. It's what he does, you know. And like that fear and flight thing and emotion, like, why throw any emotion into it? You know. So I'd ask you a quick question, Tom. Like, what is the difference between feelings and emotions, in your opinion?
Feelings and emotions. The feelings is absorbing an emotion. It is the consequence of an emotion. Okay, so if you're having a dopamine hit, okay, it's going to result in the feeling of joy, happiness. Even if it's short lived. Does that make sense?
That's very interesting. Yeah, because everyone's got a different answer. But and the way that I've been taught that it is that so feelings are something that you receive. Everyone's perspective is different. So feelings are something you receive. Emotions are something that you give. So the answer that you gave was sort of worked in together as the result of the one another. Exactly right. But when you're boxing, okay, leave the emotion out, because it's given energy. Like, and it's one of Australia's biggest problems when it's come to fighting. It's like, you know, you can tell a lot by an opponent too, but depending on what nationality they are as well. So I'll tell you something like this. When I went to the Olympic Games, I was speaking to the head Cuban coach, and I said to him, because we were so far behind, they would just play with us, mate. Like that, we were so far behind, and like in the way that we train, everything, the whole lot, box and dice. And he says he didn't want to give us an insult, so he goes, Aussie, he goes, tough, couldn't speak good English, tough, you know. He goes, but like this, you know. He goes, Russia, Cuba, Germany, play, smart. Play like this. And he goes, Aussie, like that. So we are showing our emotions. We are giving emotions. Not only we're doing it around, then we're showing them what we're going to hit them with. There's no art of deception there. There's no, you know, the punches that you least expect are the ones that hurt the most. It's just like, we're going to show you, and we're going to put some extra energy into that there. We're not even using that. We don't need that. It's not helping us achieve the goal. So just as this guy was working on Bobcat, he's just getting his job done. When you're boxing, the emotion side of things, fuck it out the window. You don't need it. Okay? You're going to be aware, you can feel, you can absorb and bring in information and bring it to a positive. Okay? But don't give any emotion into it. It's unnecessary. It just makes you tired.
It's interesting. So we've got mutual friends, and I've found something here which will be a blast from the past for you.
Yeah.
But there's a gentleman who you know very well, Johnny Lewis. And when he was training me, Johnny Lewis.
Of course.
Yeah. Johnny Lewis.
Yeah.
What he told me on that same topic goes, those that treat boxing as a fight will go down easy.
Yeah.
That's it. If you train for it to be a sport, okay, then you'll just enjoy it and you go through it. And here's the little thing, and we need to get your signature on this, mate.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
That's when you were in my corner.
Oh, booyah!
Look at that.
Yeah.
You're in my corner. I don't know if everyone else can see that. So Johnny Lewis on my left there, he chained 7 world champions as well.
Yeah.
Okay. An absolute gentleman of a person, in my humble opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're in Sydney next, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to get you to sign it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what he taught me. It's one of the things I remember, as well as a whole load of finer details.
Yeah.
And I think you reaffirmed that, but there's a lot to be said to applying that to everyday life. Okay, because a lot of time our emotions cloud us, they hinder us, they give us an opportunity to self-sabotage. Why would we hurt ourselves? Why would we hold ourselves back? Why would
let it go.
Why would we take success away from ourselves by self-generating a block?
100%.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I love all that. Okay. So we've got the fight. Okay. You block things out and you focus and you've trained for this. But you also did say that you heard the commentators and some things, what they said, and it affected you. Now, obviously, when it's on the TV, whether it be football, boxing, whatever sport, we look at people like they're superhuman. They're trained, that's what they do. But we all shit.
That's right.
What's better terminology? We're all human. Okay. So even with the best training in the world, all the atmosphere and the things that are being said, they do affect us. And I know when I was in the ring and I was getting a bit of a bashing at one point, there was a big crowd, about 600, 650, something like that. And the one I'm thinking of, and every time they're hitting me, there's this loud cheer, and it bothered me. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I tried to do it with 10,000 people or 20,000 people. Like, when you hit them, there's a silence, like nothing. And then when they even touch your side, it's just like, like it's, that's all part of mental strategy. You need to just block it out and just take it for what it is. Like, really, you need to be a realist about this sort of thing. So, and it's, and you got to know your art, you got to know your work, and it's only the sound. It's only the sound. And right in saying this though too, like just the topic here, like when people are judging a fight, so you can look at a fight on TV and they're judging and trying to get their scores. So if you look at it on TV, it is far different to seeing it in person, not just because they're 3-dimensional about it, but there's actually like a feeling that is like, with the roar of the crowd and there's the thing that goes on that actually plays a big part in that as well in the scoring part. It's a whole different element of thing. And like, funnily enough, like going into like neurology and neuroscience and how the brain works and all that sort of stuff. I was just watching the episode with the neuroscientist that you interviewed. Very interesting stuff. Loved it. There's so much to be taken from that, and people really need to master their mind, master their emotions when it comes to these sort of things. And it's just like, I think honestly the best way to deal with it, like from my own experience, because I've done a lot of this, is just mental preparation. And meditation is the best way to get any sort of, look, sometimes you got to do things you don't necessarily really want to do. I mean, some people would say they don't want to sit there all day, like doing this for not all day, but like for any period of time, just doing nothing, but making the mind still, which, as I have experienced for a long time, being where I've been, it's just like, mate, you'd have time to make your mind still, and if and you're better off just being at one with it, accepting it, make room for it. It's there, it's there, but let's deal with what's at hand. You've already made move that park it there, move forward.
That's it. And so don't sweat the stuff that's out of your control or the small stuff, but control what you can control. Focus on the big ticket items, if you like.
That's right.
Work your way through them, and it's and that's it. I know you're a father too, a proud father, as am I. And these are things we want to install. That's the legacy we want to leave.
That's right.
All right, we don't have too much time left, but I want to. I did promise you that I'll talk a little bit about West Ham and the common ground we've got with West Ham United. Is that's how you and I met.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So we met in the gym. I had a West Ham kit on, and we ended up
Yeah.
talking, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And you told me a story with that particular fight, which I was very interested in because
Kevin Mitchell.
Sorry,
Kevin Mitchell.
Kevin Mitchell.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I'm English. He's a West Ham boy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Naturally, okay, I wanted him to smash you. Okay, because
Yeah.
he's in my camp.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I was at that fight. Okay, so little did I know that we'd be talking like this a few years later. He lost it, probably on his own admittance, on some poor preparations. Okay, I think his mindset wasn't right for it, but everything was against you. Now, I remember you telling me how it worked on the lead up because you were training in Thailand. Tell me if I'm wrong, or if I didn't listen right.
Yep.
You flew to the UK just on the same day of the fight. Okay, so you had the jet lag, you had to change temperature, and then you
dealt with it. So we come in like 10 days before the flight. How many hours from Thailand to UK? So how we would work it out is that each hour of flight we'd have 1 day tapering off, because I've already pushed your body to the limit. We're not going to get any fitter. So it's just tapering off work that we really need to do. But the tapering off work that we didn't just deal with like the muscle recovery, sharpening of skills, little sessions, little light stuff, freshen up, get ready to jump out. We've still got plenty of fuel in the tank. We're not going to get any fitter. We're not going to get any more unfit. Are you still there? Yeah, we're not going to get any unfit.
But your camera's gone off. Michael, your camera's gone off.
So, oh yeah. Okay, here we go.
I'm still here.
You still got
your
me?
Your visual's gone.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So and then, but you could hear me, right? All what I was saying. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's just the adjusting to tapering off and adjusting to the cold. So that's why we got there a bit earlier, and we just picked the coldest times, and we would literally be outside. Like, could you imagine this? And you know how cold it gets, in a pair of shorts and boxing shoes on, doing pads in the cold. Can you imagine? Yeah, that's how we did it. You know, and just to adjust. So we've just basically thrown ourselves in the deep end of the water, and then by the time we come fight night, it's sort of we're swimming easy. That's right.
So what I'm interested in here is, because you probably didn't know too much about West Ham specifically. I'm giving my football club a bit of a plug here. Okay.
Yeah.
I know the area. It's a bit of a dive. Okay. It's a tough area. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay? And Upton Park itself is hostile. Did you pick up on that walking into that ground?
Oh, we're gonna fucking kill you! You fucking they're saying like that was so like we're gonna fucking destroy you and all this sort of stuff. It's just going like this, right? But and then at the end though, they left so quick. They were spewing, but they left, and the only ones that remained were the ones I think that put a bit of money on. We fucking put money, like they were like spewing. They're not backwards and coming forwards. It's just so, But after all said and done, one thing I can say about Britain as a whole in England, and that they do have respect for the athletes. Like I gained a lot of respect out of England, and that it's and look, I can tell you now that my name is bigger over there than it is here in Australia and in America also. Because of the fights that I had. But that's one thing about people of England, and that they respect their athletes and people that can show the dedication in the sport and whatever. Yeah.
I remember it very clearly, and no one disputed or disagreed with the outcome of the fight. You had a lot of respect at the back of it because you beat one of our own on his home turf with everything against you. So kudos for that. Okay, right. So we're going to wrap this up shortly. Okay. We know where we're going and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if people want to reach out to you, because you touched on a topic that resonates with them, how should they find you?
Michael Katsidis on Instagram. I've got, like, with the social media, I've got someone handling my pages there, but all relevant questions and things that reach out to me are looked at. So it's Michael Katsidis, Katsidis on Instagram. And that's the best way to reach out to me.
Fantastic. And as we wrap up then, is there any final antidote which you think, if you were to give one bit of advice to the general population, okay, what would your one nugget be?
You're going to love this one, mate. Don't die wondering. Remember seeing that before?
Yeah.
Seen that before? Yeah. Don't die wondering, always in your corner. That's one of Johnny Lewis's always. Yeah, that's it. Don't die wondering.
Love it. I appreciate that. I'd imagine we'll keep speaking as well. But listen, thanks a lot for your time today. Brilliant story. And hopefully we can help others.
Sweet. Talk soon, Mr. Purple.
Speak soon. And thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you did enjoy it, had lots of takeaways from it. As before, please subscribe below so you can keep on top of any new releases we have. And also, if you would like to have your story told, just reach out with me and I'd love to give you that platform. My best email address is tom@purplepatchconsulting.com. Thank you.